Well, thank you for coming today, and I appreciate all the great people joining me up here. We have a number of great associations and groups, particularly a number of healthcare professionals, because the topic we're talking about today is Healthy Michigan. This is a critically important topic to our state, and I thought it important to give you an update on where we stand and talk about the situation. First of all, let me walk through a chronology of how I view the situation with healthcare in our state, and I'll do this fairly quickly. Let me start with the old system that we've had for decades. We have a broken healthcare system in this country, and probably the worst illustration of it is the situation where we have people sitting in the emergency room in a situation where we have unmanaged care, uncompensated care, and they're relying on the ER as their primary source of medical care. That's a failure for all of us. It's a failure for those individuals. It's not right, and it's a failure for our society, and we should do something about it. The next step in the chronology was the Affordable Care Act. Now, people clearly have strong feelings about the Affordable Care Act. In many respects, I didn't believe it was the right answer, and I've been clear about that. I think there are more important issues that needed to be addressed, and there are major negatives to the Affordable Care Act, but there are some positives. It's a mixed bag. The question is, what do you do when you have to recognize it's the law of the land? In many respects, a couple of the negatives that we will bear the consequences in the state on are the fact that it's going to increase cost to Michiganders through additional taxes. And there are a lot of different taxes we'll pay. To give you an idea of magnitude, it's about $1.5 billion more that will go from Michigan to the federal government in taxes. In addition to that, our hospitals and medical care providers are going to suffer cuts. In terms of costs or dollars reduced to them, that could be in the range of $800 million plus. That's a lot of dollars going out of Michigan that will go to the rest of the country, depending on how we respond. Now, the positive side is there is an opportunity here to provide coverage for a lot of people. The working poor, this question of uncompensated care. And the real question is what we're going to do about the positive benefits possible to us. Well, I want to thank particularly the people in the House of Representatives for working hard with the administration, the Department of Community Health, to say, let's make a positive solution out of this difficult case. We had limits on what we could do, but let's do the best we can to do what's right for Michiganders. And we stepped up. The House stepped up. We had a bipartisan majority of the House move forward with Healthy Michigan. And I described that as doing the right thing. So not only did we take a framework that many people had serious issues with, but say, how do we make it right for Michigan? How do we be proactive? How do we address some of the most serious fallacies or problems that we have with it? And there was a response that was good. It was about personal responsibility. It was about wellness. Those are two of the fundamental core things that we need to spend a lot more time on. That, in my view, that's the issue that should have been addressed instead of the Affordable Care Act. They're incorporated in this plan. It's a good plan. It's an opportunity to take care of people in need. And the House stepped up and did that. And it's great. We have some representatives with us. So I appreciate you joining us in terms of being here today. In terms of going forward, though, now we face a situation of what the Senate was going to do. And again, I believe they're still meeting, but they're wrapping up now. But I communicated with Senator Randy Richardville, the majority leader, and I asked them to take a vote on this topic. I went through the process of asking them to vote because I believe a majority of Michiganders support Healthy Michigan. A majority of the House of Representatives supports Healthy Michigan. I, as governor, support Healthy Michigan. I believe there's actually most likely a majority in the Senate that supports Healthy Michigan. But if it doesn't come to a vote, it doesn't get done. In my view, that's not a good answer. That's not the right answer for Michigan. And my understanding is they're going to recess and leave. That's not right. And I want to make a call to all Michiganders to join me in speaking to the Senate Republicans to say, take a vote, not a vacation. And that's something that I think we need to spread that message. So I'm asking each and every Michigander, every time you see a Republican senator, that you step up and say, please take a vote, not a vacation. Isn't that what we deserve? So we can move forward. Now, more than that, I want to spend a couple minutes, and I apologize. This is longer than normal for me, but this is a critical topic. And I want to share some reasons why you should vote yes instead of no on this act, on the concept of Healthy Michigan. I've heard a lot of reasons that people might vote no. I haven't heard a good reason yet. I've heard people stand up and say, I'm not voting for it because it's Obamacare. Well, first of all, we shouldn't be doing this based on personalities, on names, on stereotypes. This is not about politics. This is about doing the right thing for Michiganders. Healthy Michigan is not the standard package either for Medicaid expansion. It's a very thoughtful package that, again, has significant improvements and is pushing the envelope in terms of heading the right direction towards personal responsibility and wellness. I've heard people come back and say, hey, I might have a primary. I have people in my district upset. Well, I'm sorry, that's part of leadership. I've learned that in this position, that part of being a leader is you can't make everyone happy. And my view is you have to represent what's in the best interest of the majority of Michiganders. And there are times you'll have people on the left that don't like what you do, and you're going to have people on the right that don't like what you do, but you make the right decision, and you stay firm and move forward. I've had people come back to say they needed more time, or they wanted to make improvements. Well, nothing's perfect. This is a very solid package. This is at the envelope of getting to personal wellness and personal responsibility and wellness. This is a good product. Is it a perfect product? No. But this is a product we can take and work with, a product we can put in place and learn from and then improve. And in terms of time, we're out of time. We need to move forward. The clock is ticking. The beginning of next year, many things need to be in place. We need decisions made. Not making a decision is making a decision. A decision of no, that again comes back to harming Michiganders. Now, the reasons for yes, it's straightforward. Now, I'm going to start on the financial side, but that's not the most compelling of this, but it's important to recognize. I walked through those numbers. We're going to have over $2 billion. We're going to get all the negative implications of the Affordable Care Act coming to Michigan with or without Healthy Michigan. We are going to bear those burdens. Now, shouldn't we do something to try to make it a positive for Michigan, to try to offset those negatives? A lack of action or a no vote on this leaves us with nothing. We're basically subsidizing the rest of the United States. That's not a good answer. We need better solutions. The second thing is if you look at the opportunity in terms of making decisions, isn't it better to say we're going to try a solution instead of simply saying no? And I'm passionate about this because this represents the difference between the Michigan of old, the broken Michigan, and Michigan's future. We ended up in 2009 because we sat by the sidelines and said no, and said we're just going to live this world and go in autopilot and not make tough decisions. Does anyone want to go back to the Michigan of 2009? Isn't it better to try a solution knowing it may have risk, that it's not perfect, that it has challenges, that we're going to be held accountable for delivering measurable, tangible results? I accept that challenge. I believe the Michigan of the future requires us to accept that challenge and get this job done. So let's put a solution in place and move forward. And then the most important thing that you come down to in this, it's not just about dollars and cents. It's not just about policy. We're talking human beings here. One of the questions I asked, I met with several senators today, and the question I ask is, how are you going to feel if you have to go into an emergency room? if we don't do this. And I've been in the emergency room with my kids. Most of us have. Nobody likes going to the emergency room. We have wonderful people there that do fabulous work. That's not the issue. But it's a tough situation compared to going to your doctor in a normal circumstance or urgent care or anything else. But how are you going to feel if we do nothing and you walk in there and you see chair after chair of working poor people, hardworking people, sitting in those chairs knowing that's their health care system when we could have given them a better answer? I know of no way to explain why you cannot act, why we need to act, why we need to do something to help those people. And that's the fundamentals of leadership. These are tough things to do, but they're the right things to do. So what I call on all Michiganders to stand with me, to put out that call in a positive way, not to go negative on people, but simply make the point. Please come do your job. Please come take a vote. Please come vote yes. And please think about the positives, the financial positives, the policy positives, and just that person, that they have hope, they have care. So I ask you to join me in this effort. And I ask you to sustain this effort until we get that vote, until we get that yes vote. So I appreciate you being here. Sorry for going for so long. But what I'd like to do now is share. And what I'd like to do is ask Rob Fowler to come up, because one of the huge implications of this is the negative impact it will have on jobs in our state by not acting, in terms of what it does to small business, and the terrible circumstances it puts small business people in terms of they want to take care of their employees, and the terrible environment this helps create. Rob?
Thank you, Governor. We are here also to urge the Senate to take up the bill, to take some action. We think this will be a huge missed opportunity if the action isn't taken. The missed opportunity rests in not doing something about the issue of uncompensated care that our healthcare system is bearing today, and mostly bearing by passing along those costs to insured customers. Our members pay health insurance, and that cost shifting that goes on as a result of uncompensated care is one of the major drivers for the cost of health insurance for small business today. And we saw this as a real opportunity to do something about it. If people who show up in our healthcare system had coverage for those who simply can't afford it, we believe the process of cost shifting on to the paying customers would slow, maybe stop. We believe the improvements made in the House of Representatives gave us better assurance and better hope that we could measure it and we could understand the issue of cost shifting, and we could actually do something about it and actually stop cost shifting. That to us is the great missed opportunity, and I think there's a couple of other reasons that we've been talking about and been concerned about. One of them comes in the form of what other states do and sort of watching the competition. And if we're right that it will make a difference in ongoing cost of health insurance in our state, what about the states who do pass Medicaid expansion? We believe they'll have a competitive advantage as it relates to the cost of health insurance in their state, and certainly over a long period of time that can be a significant difference in the cost of doing business here in Michigan relative to other states. And finally, I would say we have an opportunity to avoid a penalty. This penalty comes for companies that have over 50 employees who have employees who would qualify in the 100 to 133% range, that won't be covered if we don't expand, who would be eligible for the exchange, who will have to pay a fee, a penalty. We could avoid that by expanding Medicaid today, and if we don't, it's estimated that that's $50 to $80 million for employers in the state of Michigan. Now, those are the reasons we think there's some urgency about this, and we hope the Senate will take it up. And we just think that to miss this opportunity would be a shame for Michigan's employers and for Michigan citizens. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob. I really appreciate that. The next person I'm going to ask to speak is Amy Whistler from Sparrow. She's a nurse there, and I want to give her a lot of credit for being here today. I couldn't do what she does for a living. She's one of those angels, along with a number of the other healthcare professionals here. But I would say is she's not particularly thrilled about being in a press conference. So I don't think there's much chance we're going to change jobs. I'm not qualified to do what she does, and I don't think she would want to do what I do. But with that, let me see if I can get Amy to come up. Hopefully she's laughing a little bit now, and she can come up and make some comments. So, Amy, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm a Sparrow nurse. Like Governor said, I don't do this very much, so I do have a little piece of paper I'm reading my notes off of, because every day I take care of people. And I'm here to speak from the heart. This legislation would provide health insurance to 450,000 working Michigan adults. Those who do not have insurance seek care at the emergency room. That's the most expensive and least efficient setting to receive care. This insurance would give them access to preventative care that they need. I see it every day. As a caregiver, I know so much more that can be done. The legislature should act now. Let's inspire Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And I also want to thank the other groups joining us. We have a number here. The Michigan Hospital Association's with us, the Michigan State Medical Society, the Community Mental Health Board Association, Michigan Chamber of Commerce, Michigan Primary Care Association, AARP, the American Academy of Family Physicians, the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Small Business Association Rob spoke from. I think if you look at the coalition would keep going on. By far, the vast majority of Michiganders support this. So we should get it done. So with that, let me open it up for questions. This is one of those rare cases we always start on topic. I don't think we're going to have a lack of questions on the topic.
Governor, is this a lack of leadership on the Senate's part? Do they take pressures?
That's a question you should ask them, but it's clear from my perspective, Tim, the right answer would have been to take a vote.
Do you have a sense now as to what is the time frame? When is the drop dead date for this no longer using issue?
Every day this passes, this becomes more difficult. I would say likely in the next 15 to 30 days, it just becomes increasingly difficult to the point where it just doesn't work, Tim, if you get out to the fall.
And did you get a commitment from Mr. Richardson that they would come back to work on this?
No. Again, I think they'll make their own statements. Again, I'm not going to speak for the Senate. I'm making it clear how I feel, and I don't think that's a doubt in anyone's mind right now. It's worth coming back to Michigan because this is something I am passionate about, and the people standing with me are passionate about. I think it's important that we get the public talking about this and get proactive. So it is absolutely worth coming back. You can see me. This is what I had on quite a while ago. You've never seen me in khaki pants, have you? I did put my contacts back in, I did shave, and I did brush my teeth. That's about it. Well, you don't often say that before the process started because this is something, again, I compliment the House. You're sitting next to one of the people that did a fabulous job, Representative Shirkey. There are a number of other great representatives. People worked really hard on this, but what I can say is the Senate was invited to those meetings too. So it wasn't just an isolated thing. The House took the lead on it, but the Senate was invited, participated in senators. I can't say the entire Senate, but people were part of this process. And again, this is one of those issues that I'm not going to try to explain their thoughts. That's where you should ask them. This has been an extremely polarizing issue in many respects, but that's when I want to step back and walk through the nose. This is not about politics. This is not about saying this is not the standard Medicaid expansion. This is actually something really made for Michiganders that is really good. And we've said that multiple times, and I think as you talk to the groups, there are a lot of people that have made a lot of phone calls or had a lot of sit-down meetings. We just need to make sure we continue to reinforce that until people get on board, because I believe this is something that would pass if we got a vote today.
Governor, is it time for the chambers to let go of the majority rules, not just on this, but on other things where you've got the votes to do something?
Well, they make that decision themselves, but someone really was passionate about that with me today and said that. And I said, I don't know how you can say that should be the case in every single case. I said, if it was the case in every single case, why does the Michigan Constitution say we have 38 senators? If it was that in every other case, shouldn't the Constitution say once a party wins the majority of a chamber, why do you even bother having the other people show up? It doesn't say that. The point is we should have 38 senators talking about 38 voices, and let's get some answers.
Governor, have you looked into possibly asking the legislature to reconvene under constitutional authority?
Yeah, there's a real question. I'm not sure we're in that particular situation, Kyle, in terms of saying I can call them back. Again, it depends on how they actually leave today, those different conditions. But this is something you can see. I'm pushing really hard, and I'm going to continue pushing. This is not something I'm going to stop talking about. And I don't want anyone back here with me, supporting me, anyone out there with me to stop this. This is a case where I think that question should be asked by the public. Take a vote, not a vacation. Again, I'm not sure, depending on how they do it, technically I can do that or not. But I think I'm making it really clear how I feel about it, and I hope I have the majority of 10 million people joining me, which I believe I do. Well, there's a lot of different ideas. I'm not going to make a blanket statement on something like that. I think I'm making a pretty powerful statement today already.
So did Senator Richard indicate that he would call the Senate back earlier if he sensed there was public pressure for this?
No. And Senator Richardville should speak for himself, so I'm not going to try to give you his thoughts or his version of this discussion. You can ask him.
Governor, since your statement so far obviously not been sufficient to use the Senate to approve this, what other things are you looking at doing to try and move it?
I don't view as insignificant that I'm standing here in a press conference asking 10 million people to bug the living daylights out of their senator until they come vote on something. I view that as relatively significant. And to be blunt, you know me. There's the concept of relentless positive action. There's more R today, and the R is going to stay there.
Senator Jordan, you suggested to me earlier today that they would do a working group, some of the things we talked about over time, and the timetable might be towards the end of summer, maybe the last week of August. Is that too late?
Yes. Under current circumstances, that would be too late. That's why I'm standing here today.
The Senate resolution says that when they adjourn today, they're going to come back on the 27th of August. So if they adjourn since that, we will see.
Well, that's the point of having this discussion, to see if they might want to reevaluate that decision. I wouldn't use the word angry, Tim, but obviously this is not my normal demeanor. How people, what word you'd like to put on it, I'll leave it to you.
Why did you come back from Israel? Was that your decision, or did the Senate majority leader say it would be helpful if you came back to talk to people?
This was my decision. And the way I viewed it is either it was going to be a chance to celebrate success or to have the discussion we're having today. So one way or another, I was planning on having a press event this afternoon.
Before you left, did you anticipate you'd have to be in this position? Did you have some assurance that the Senate would pass the bill?
Again, I don't want to speak for the Senate. There were a lot of positives going on. I made multiple calls when I was in Israel, so it wasn't I was out of touch. I was very much in touch. But again, I think there is value to making the point of cutting short a trip. And I want to say thank you, and I appreciate the understanding of the people I was supposed to meet with today and tomorrow, because there were some great meetings. The trip was fabulous in terms of relations with Israel, in terms of business opportunities for Michiganders, job opportunities. The trip was extremely successful, probably among the most successful trips I've ever had. So coming back to Michigan was something that had a price. And again, I want to apologize for the Israelis I was supposed to meet with today and tomorrow.
Governor, I know you're not about credit and blame, but I'm going to guess somebody from the other party is going to say this is a lack of leadership on your part to deliver the votes on this package today.
Again, I don't play that situation of blame and credit and stuff. I don't see value in that. My focus is, let's get a vote on Healthy Michigan. Let's pass Healthy Michigan out of the Senate. Let's get better care for Michiganders. And then what's the next problem we can take on and be relentless in solving one problem with common sense right after the next?
Are you concerned that this is going to go away things like your roads bill and that kind of thing? Because we've been pretty tough on Republicans in the Senate for the past 20 months, so that probably doesn't encourage them to vote for tax increases to this road.
That would probably be an accurate statement. But again, I didn't take this job to be popular with some of my colleagues. I did it, again, I want great relations, I want strong relations, and I respect them. So this isn't out of disrespect. This is about a difference of opinion. But isn't it appropriate when we have a difference of opinion? I worked on it in a private fashion, so did they in good faith. That didn't work. And the right answer is I believe this is the best course of action for Michigan, and shouldn't I, as a leader, stand up and say that? So I believe I'm just doing my job in a thoughtful, effective fashion. Effective, you can wait and measure, but I think we're going to be on the path with relentless action, positive action, to keep going. Thank you.